afternoon, everybody. My name is Theresa. Back here on Friday for your origami lesson. Today I'm going to teach you guys the whale, this little guy here, and I'm also going to do the seal. And as I said yesterday, I'll show you how to attach the ball. So I made a little guy here, and then we'll attach it to the seal so you can make it look like he's balancing a ball. So for the first step, we're going to take our paper, color side down, obviously. I'm using double-sided paper again, just that's what I'm using, keeping it easy. So the first thing we're going to do is a nice easy triangle fold. So we're going to fold it in half into a triangle. And always making sure our they line up nice and tight on the corners. And a nice tight crease there. And then we're going to unfold it. And now that we've got the nice marked line here, we're going to fold one half in on the triangle. And we're going to just make it nice and small. So we're going to fold it in on an angle so that it points down to the bottom. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So it'll be folded in on the other side. So there we go. Nice easy fold. Once we have that, we're going to flip it over and we're going to take the short spot and we're going to fold it in half to the top of this point here. I'm going to line it up, and again with the nice crease along there. And once that's done, we're going to flip it over. What we're going to do is take this piece and we're going to open it up. This will actually end up being in a kind of a, just like this one stayed together. So once you have it like this, you should have two little flaps here, and then you should have two big ones like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take it, we're going to open. Sorry about that, guys. I lost the internet there for a second. Alright, so we're going to take this, we're going to put the fat side flat down on the table like this, and it should end up sticking up kind of all weird like this. And you can see that here. So the easiest way to do this is to just put this nice flat on the table and take one of these pieces and gently fold it over on itself. And when you do this, it'll actually create a crease on the opposite side. And as I do that, you can kind of see. So you see the line here, this nice crease. And once you've done both sides, what I want you to do is do the opposite direction. And this gives you a nice tight crease. So you're going to do that same thing so that it's nice and easy. So automatically it'll stand up on its own. And you can see that it's nice folds along here on both sides. And once you have these little flaps, you're good to go. Alright. So, for the whale, once you have it flattened out like this, we're going to flip it over. And what we're going to do is fold the fat side of this triangle in towards itself, but only the thickness of my finger. So all we're going to do is go in like this. So I've measured out about a finger thickness, and I put my thumb here as a marker. And I'm going to fold this over, and always making sure that this line is kind of centered with the opposite triangle. And then flatten it down. So that actually makes it nice and skinny. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I've got my one finger, I'm going to fold it over, and then flatten it down. Just like that. Once you have that, what we're going to do is tuck one of these ends, doesn't matter which at this point. We're going to tuck one of these ends all the way into the center. So from earlier, it's kind of hard to see on here, but we got a center mark. And when you actually do the folds, you'll have your center line. So you can take your tuck this one all the way up, right to the center. And if I did it right, these should match pretty much all the way across. Alright, so once we've got that, we're going to fold this whole thing inside itself. So we're just going to take it and we're going to fold it all the way in. And just nice and easy, fold it all the way across. And make sure it's nice and tight. And my paper doesn't want to cooperate today. There we go. So now it's folded in half. It's starting to look like a whale, but not quite. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give it its little fins right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and it's facing the nose. We're going to take it, we're actually going to fold it backwards on itself. So you can see here I can't go any farther because it's caught on this fold. That's good because that's our marking line. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it all the way back to that mark and then just kind of angle it a little bit. And then you have a wing or a flipper. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to, again, all the way over to that edge, just like that, and then angle it just a little bit. And you now have flippers. Alright. Wow, we don't have a tail. We need a tail. So what we're going to do is make a tail. So we're going to grab our scissors, and we're going to take this tail, we're going to take this tip, and I would go maybe the length of half of my finger. Doesn't matter, you can make it a bigger tail or a longer tail. I like shorter tails. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold it up towards the sky. Just like that. And I did it on an angle here, so that it's pointing directly straight up. And when we do that, that's what we're going to end up with here. So once we've done that, we have to cut it. So on here, I'm just going to show you this one here. So this is the immediate tail. This is when we folded it. And then once we cut it, which we're going to cut here all the way down till it matches up with the back. And once you do that, then we'll actually be able to unfold it, and that's how you get your tail. So I'm going to do that now. Except that I did my flippers upside down. Never do this after work. Alright, you can do it like this, and you can leave it like this. Or you can do them upside down like this, which is, well, either way, I like the back. So we're going to leave it. So we're going to do this. We're going to cut all the way across here. All the way down. And then we're going to fold one side up. And we'll leave the other side down. And voila. You now have a whale. And if you want to do it the way I did it with this one, you actually just flip this upside down and fold this in that direction instead of the other way. And you just fold these ones down like this. And then he'll sit just like that. So you can do it either way. If you wanted a rounded back like this, you can do it the way I taught you at the beginning, or you can do it flat back on the back. I kind of like it the other way with the rounded back. Alright. Put my scissors away so I have space to work. So we have the seal. The seal is super cute. And a lot of the moves are the same as what we just did with the whale. So it'll be nice and easy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our paper, colored side down always, and we're going to fold it in half. into a triangle. And again, always making sure that your corners match up. So nice corners on there. And push it down like that, nice and tight. Good solid creases. And then we're going to unfold it. So you can see you have a nice crease. We're going to fold this into the middle on an angle. And I'm just going to put this down to do that. So we're going to do that all the way into the middle line here, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And voila. So once you've done that, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to fold this corner all the way up to the top corner, just like we did on the whale. Alright. So once we have that, we're going to flip it back over, and just like we did on the whale, we're going to open this one up, make it nice big wide open, and we're going to fold it so that it falls all the way along, just like we did earlier. There you go. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other one. Put it down, it's not cooperating with me. For those of you who don't know what day of the week it is, because you don't have the right color underwear on, it's Friday, so my brain isn't working properly here. Alright, so now we have our little flaps, and we have our big wings like this. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to put it nice and flat down like this, and we're going to go back on itself, and we're going to fold that wing down. Same thing on this side. Nice and tight like that. And then we're going to go the opposite direction because we want it to be nice and crisp. So then they stand up on their own just like that. Right? Alright, so once we have this little guy, what we're going to do is actually fold it in half so that it's folding into the flat side that has no flippers or anything. So we're going to fold it in half like this. And there we go. So as you can see, we're already getting close to the end here. See? Nice and easy. So once we have our wings, or our flippers, what we're going to do is we're going to make a neck. So doesn't matter which side, you can do either side. So I'm just going to take this, and you see at the corner of your flipper, we're going to take this neck, and I want a nice long neck. So I'm going to fold this all the way from here, and I'm actually going to use this whole crease. So you can see I followed this line here, and you can make it on a different angle, but this is the easiest way to do it when you're learning, and then you can play with the angles later. So once you've done that, you want a nice crisp edge, and we're going to actually do what is called an inverted fold. So we're going to reverse fold this. So once we've done this, we actually have a fold already. We're going to undo it, and I'm going to put my finger inside and gently pull the inside so it actually goes in on itself, and it's going to follow that line that I made earlier. And then fold it in on itself here, and I'm just gonna make sure it's following the line I want it to, and then press it down. So I'm just gonna do that again so you can see. So we've already had our fold this way, right? And we're just following the angle. We're gonna unfold it, unfold this, and I put my finger right in the middle, and it's a nice easy way to do this. And I hold this down here, and I just pull this up and push it in on itself. And because I already have the crease, it'll fold in on itself. and then I just fold this, make sure it's nice and tight, and push down on this. Okay? So if you don't want your neck sitting straight up, you can move it on an angle, and because it's paper, the super easy thing to do, take this, hold this part really tight, and ever so gently change the angle. So you can see where it kind of unfolds itself. So if I want it to stay standing straight up, I can keep it there, or I can move it just a little bit farther forward and then recrease this, and now it's not so far on an angle, right? But I'm going to keep it on a straight up and down, just for now. Alright. So, once we've got the neck, we've got these funny flippers. Those don't look like flippers. These look like flippers. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to follow this line here, and we're going to fold it into a triangle so that it's pointing down. And we're going to follow the line all the way down. Just like that. So it's actually pointing down below the body, and as you can see, that's good because that actually makes him stand up and he looks like he's on his flippers, right? And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So again, I'm following the crease from earlier. I'm just going to pull it down into a triangle. And there you go. So now you have your flippers. Alright. So the next thing we need is a tail. We're going to do the same thing like we did with this big neck. We're going to make a tail. So I only want a small tail. I don't want a really big tail because seals don't have huge tails. So what I'm going to do is like I did earlier with the whale, I'm going to go two knuckles in, just as a general idea. And we're going to point it up, and we're going to fold it down like this, nice and tight. And I'm going to turn it around so it's easier. And we're going to do the same thing we did with this. We're going to put our finger inside, and we're actually going to pull it in on itself this time. So we just pull it in, whoop, and hold this nice and tight so it doesn't unfold. And as you can see, when I fold it back in on itself, I fold this one in half, right? So it's kind of like this. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to choose the angle I want. So that looks kind of funny because it's sticking straight up, right? So I'm going to make it on an angle a little farther out just by pulling this in the opposite direction. And again, always holding really tight on the body. And then as you move it to the angle you like, you just push down the paper, and voila, you have a tail. The inverted folds are the funkiest ones. They're the ones that you have to play with the most when you're learning. So if you do it and you don't like the angle, you just move it around and you change the angle you want. Alright. So, it's looking like a seal now, but we don't have a head. So, we're going to make one. So we've got our tail, we've got our flippers, we've got a nice long neck, and now we need a head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger, and we're going to do an inverted fold. And this one's kind of fun because we're not going to use anything too long. We don't want a really big long neck. So we're going to go maybe one knuckle. And I'm going to fold this over in an angle like this so that it's kind of flat with the table I'm working on. And again, you can change the angle of the head. You can have it pointing down more, you can point it up. And we're going to do the same thing we did with this tail and with this neck, and we're going to do the inverted. So we're going to take this, we're going to hold it nice and tight here, and we're going to fold it back in on itself. And then it'll fold over like this, and voila. And now you have your head. Now, when you put it down like this, these are very tight together. So the easiest thing to do is gently just hold them together here, like this. And what I do is gently pull these apart. And don't fold them so much as just gently separate them a little bit. and then when you sit it down, it'll actually be wider out. So with this one here, you can see that I kind of made them so that they flop down a little more, and that just makes him more stable. And if you want, you can push it down on the table like this and just kind of back and forth a little bit, and then it'll loosen those legs back up a little bit. And there you have it. Alright. So the last thing I'm going to show you is how to hook up this balloon. So now that you've got him doing his balancing act here, the next best thing for a circus seal is to balance on his nose. So we're going to make a little tiny nose piece, and we're going to just fold it backwards just like we did with all the other folds, so that it kind of sticks up like this. And then once you balance him on the ground, I put my ball, and you just kind of play with it a little bit until you find the balance. Whoop. And then you just put it on there. And voila, you now have a seal that can balance a ball on his head. And it's very cool. Alright, so that's the ones for today. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along and are enjoying the videos. And tomorrow I will do the bird, so this little guy here, and we're going to need a pair of scissors again tomorrow. And then I will show you this fun box. And then on Sunday I will do the chrysanthemum dish. So this one's a kind of cool one. It's a little star-shaped dish. So I will show you that on Sunday. Thank you guys for watching.